Well, today I want to talk to you about the awesome power of the cross. When you hear the word awe, what comes to mind? I think of maybe a mountaintop experience or sunset. Well, awe literally means wonder in the sense of respect, a sense of amazement, admiration, even a sense of surprise. In the last 2 weeks, we have witnessed events in nature that have given us a sense of awe. The eclipse and then the floods down in Texas. I was in Missouri at the time of the eclipse at a location that was to be total eclipse. But it rained hard all morning and it was still very cloudy and overcast at the time of the eclipse. The traffic, due to the hard rain and volume of just all the people on the road, was horrible. And I couldn't make it to the place where I intended to go, so I exited the highway to find a spot to park. And there are many others who've done the same thing from all over the United States by virtue of their license plates, parked alongside of this little off-ramp and road and at the gas station across the street, and everyone's standing outside their cars and looking up at the clouds. Probably a pretty ridiculous sight for someone. There was a clearing in the distance and I was staring at it waiting to see the stars come out. I thought at least I'd see the stars come out in the middle of the day. Well, the clouds thinned for a moment. We got to get a glimpse of the eclipse and everyone was cheering. Although it was less than ideal viewing conditions and we all could have been glum and very disappointed, there was still this sense of awe that filled the crowd. And we did get to see the awe-inspiring 360 degrees of sunset. It was just beyond explanation or just beyond words. Just wonder and amazement permeated the air. As I sat there witnessing the event, I thought about how rare it is to experience awe simultaneously in a large group. Then not even a week later comes Hurricane Harvey, hits the golf course and rain falls in record amounts. I can't even imagine, right? It's just mind-boggling. Over 4 feet in spots, right? Awe in the sense of respect, surprise, and amazement, the force of nature. We also witness people setting aside divisions and helping out those in need. In terrible circumstances, we saw the good of people. Again, awe-inspiring. One more example of awe in the last 2 weeks. This time may be a little more difficult to see. A group from our community and church was down in Haiti and posted daily about their experiences. Going out with a water truck to deliver water to those in need, children who ran up and kind of hugged them and surrounded them, and then a connection with strangers that happened just by sharing simple manicures. All seemingly insignificant events. Water, manicures, joy of children. All becoming windows into the awesome power of love and acts of kindness. In the midst of poverty and lack of infrastructure, the power of God and the human compassion still shines through. A sense of awe indeed. And if you were in Blanchardville yesterday at the park, you got a similar glimpse at the awesome power of human compassion and kindness at the fundraiser for Rachel. When we think of the cross and Jesus' death on the cross, we are confronted with the awe-inspired, awe-filled power of God. Right? A sense of wonder, respect, amazement, surprise. An instrument of torture and death becomes a source of forgiveness and reconciliation. Not a dead end, but the beginning of a great triumph over evil. Take all that you possibly have witnessed over the past 2 weeks. The wonder of the eclipse, that odd sense of a moment when life kind of shifts and it's just not normal, and like how things usually are. And the fearsome power of the floods, all filled respect for the destructive power of rain. The simultaneous compassion and willingness to help and make sacrifices for those in need. blend it all together and multiply it. That's the all-filled, the awesome power we witness of Jesus on the cross. The all of something terrible being used by God's awesome power to bring about healing and forgiveness. Love defeating all divisions and evil. It's too easy to get lost in fear and suffering of this world and the cross. It's easy to do exactly what Peter did when he told Jesus, no, I don't want to see you suffer. I don't want pain to you or anyone else in this world. I'm right there with Peter. I want God, through Jesus, to put an immediate, triumphant end to all injustice, pain, and suffering in the world. And I certainly don't want anyone to suffer on my behalf, especially not Jesus. And yet that's the all-filled power of God in the cross. The all-filled power of sacrificial love. Putting aside desires and comfort to help someone else. By the way, this is what it means when Jesus tells us to take up our cross and follow him. It's to be willing to give of yourself, your time, your treasures, for those in need and for the well-being of the world. Taking up your cross does not mean to simply bear your own pain, troubles, or burdens in this world. Taking up your cross means to reach out and help others in the face and despite the pain and suffering in the world. The love God gives you through Jesus on the cross is a love to which we stand in awe. Jesus bears a terrible amount of suffering in order to bring hope and healing to everyone in the world. But it's not the pain and suffering that's to capture all of our attention. Instead, we're to be caught up in God's sacrificial love. A love that heals and emboldens you. A love that is filled with compassion and fills us with compassion. A love that doesn't simply shake its fist and shout at the evil in the world, but inspires you to roll up your sleeves, dig in your pockets, set aside your calendar schedule, or simply sit and cry with those in need. In face of destruction, in face of all forms of suffering and evil, in face of exhaustion, God gives love. A love that is full of wonder, amazing, even surprising. That is the awesome, powerful love of the cross. Amen.